Hello.
Testing. All right, I don't know how that happened.
Testing.
Testing.
Testing. Can I hear? Can people hear me now?
I
No.
can hear
Yes.
you.
On the
Like
stream.
in the stream here.
There we go. Okay, I don't know why that was muted. There's no other mics on this particular Streamlabs once again. Clearly it was devised by some eldritch lord to rack my brain. But yes, hello everyone. Welcome back to Bad Fanfiction Night. I am Raymond McNeil, Lord of the Scuff, and joining me as always is the wonderful Twilight Guardian.
Hello.
Tonight we are continuing our deep dive into Lily Orchard's Sith Resurgence, which has been just a slog of a fanfic at times. It's hilarious at moments, but my God, she is a uniquely bad writer.
Yes.
Honestly, not the worst we've ever encountered, but like there are different ways to be bad, and she hits quite a few of the worst ones.
You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Also,
that's right.
Oh no, synthetic man.
Also, a very giant ego attached to her sense of writing.
Yes. I should you get someone remind me. Yeah, I should probably swap over after this stream. Halloween is officially over, but I'm gonna keep the bucket on just for this stream, so everyone can get one more day of Spoopy Month.
That awkward day
really,
after
you
the
actually
holiday.
can't take it off. You got stuck in the suit.
That awkward day.
It is a tight squeeze.
Always that awkward day right after the holiday where you just don't want to take down the decorations.
It's too much candy. Couldn't fit out of the bucket. Nice to be able to catch a stream for once. Much love from Australia. Well, thank you, Techni. It's good to have you. All right, so we're looking at about 8.5, 9 pages today. So everyone just sit tight, grab a nice drink, beverage, anything that you would like to enjoy the stream with. Sit back, relax, and have a good time. Remember the rules. We do like our quips and comments and observations and conversation, but keep it to a reserved amount. We do typically like getting through the stream too at a nice, decent clip. So if I or Twilight are speaking, we're the priority. That means you guys basically shut up. That's kind of how this goes. We are not a democracy. We are totalitarian. So let us get right into it. Starting in the middle of this chapter, which I forgot the title of because the goddamn we had these chapters so damned long.
Yeah.
How long until we reach Starkiller Base? Aliana asked as she stood in the cockpit doorway. The longer this took, the more tense she became. She needed a distraction, something to occupy her time. About an hour, Han answered. We'll be coming in for a rough landing, so we'll need you ready. I can do that, Aliana nodded, laying a hand on Finn's shoulder. You still have Skywalker's lightsaber? Finn nodded. Yep, got it right here. Wait, Skywalker's lightsaber? Aliana nodded. Yup, got it right. Oh, sorry. Yup, Luke and Anakin's before him. How do you know any of this?
Literally how?
What? Well, you didn't tell me that before you gave it to me, Finn said incredulously. It's a lightsaber. Who used to own it isn't that important, Aliana said flatly. Okay, yeah, but when the lightsaber was lost, falling into a gas giant?
Also, throwing this out there, who had it before isn't important. She says with the item that gives Rey Force dreams and has immense amounts of Force potential because of how much it's gone through.
Yeah, it's
it's
like, okay, so now you're like, oh, it's not important. Oh yeah, but it has the psychic energy of everyone that had wielded it prior.
Well, you have to understand, it's just Excalibur. It's just a sword. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's
It's just
cool
a sword.
about it.
It's just a pointy, sharp piece of metal.
Yeah, but also, if it doesn't matter, why would she bring it up in the first place? If it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
That too.
All right. Do yourself a favor, though. Don't think about who or what that weapon has killed or how many assholes it's been shoved up. Wait, what?
What?
Nunny?
Finn looked at Aliana
Wow.
with concern. What? Why? What did... I said don't think about it. Don't fucking mention it then, you dumb bitch.
You know, generally speaking, when you tell someone not to think about it,
They're going
they
to
end
think...
up thinking about it.
No one
So,
think about
nice
pink
going,
elephants.
Lily has failed human psychology.
Anyway, I said don't think about it, Aliana interrupted. It's a weapon. It's useful, nothing more. Now, come on, I want you to practice with it. You never know what we'll run into on the planet's surface. If you encounter Kylo Ren, then you want to be able to survive. Finn nodded and followed Aliana, curious as to what she alluded to regarding what the lightsaber had killed, but putting it out of her mind like she'd said.
Huh?
Oh, I'm glad he's putting it out of Aliana's mind, not his own. I mean, that was the important part.
Well, of course. Come on.
Wow, basic grammar.
You know what? No, we can't, because like she's correctly she's foreshadowing that Finn is going to realize he actually is a woman. And this is just, you know, we're just getting the foreshocks of that. She spoiled her own twist for us guys.
Oh.
And then Finn's gonna, like, I don't know, save Rey, ditch Aliana, and just
No,
be
Finn's
the
obviously going to
hottest
marry Poe.
bitch
We all know that.
on the block.
Anyway, Aliana proved to be an effective teacher. In only 15 minutes, Finn had a full grasp on the most basic style of lightsaber combat, which Aliana had called a name he hadn't quite caught when she said it.
Oh, fuck right off.
We learned the important step is to firmly grasp it.
Okay,
Don't
look,
worry, guys. An entire temple dedicated to lightsaber combat and learning the ways of the Force. 15-minute Zoom course.
okay, so if you wanted to do something like this, you could always rely on the fact that he was a stormtrooper and they have vaguely similar weapons, like maybe vibro swords, although we don't see any. You could have just said he had some prior training he was relying on, or like applicable training from before. That's all you have to say in order to try and get him up to some level of snuff. But you can't just teach someone sword fighting with a laser sword in 15 minutes. That's not how that works.
That's not how someone who works.
It's not how
As someone
stabbing
who has
works.
done fencing for years.
But that would
As someone who
imply
has done
Storm.
fencing for years. This is making me twitch.
But that would
He had actually felt like he could. He had to admit it felt good to be swinging the lightsaber with more control than he had on Takodana. He actually felt like he could hold his own. A lightsaber wasn't too different from a vibroblade or a riot baton. You see, you could talk about that more than just 15 minutes, which he was extremely well trained in, but the blade of pure plasma made it feel weightless and unbalanced. Tell that to the dark saber. It had taken some time to get used to its unique feeling in his hands, especially with how the hilt buzzed.
Don't.
Weapons were easy
there
though.
for you.
Finn
It's
was
right
one.
there for you.
I know. I'm just gonna let my sit where it is.
Mm-hmm. You should.
Weapons were
Without
easy though.
contact.
Finn was one of the most talented marksmen in the First Order, and weapons training was where he excelled. Though it had taken time to get used to the unique feel of a lightsaber, once he had it, it was like any other melee weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should
Why was
not
he a
be like
janitor
that.
then?
Why was he a janitor then? That's a
Hey,
very
all
good
that training
question.
with the broom paid off.
Oh my God, he was Star Wars kid.
Dun dun.
That's the secret backstory of Finn. As the two shut off their lightsabers, Finn cast a glance towards his teacher. She was focused on the practice, but he could tell her mind was still drifting elsewhere. He wasn't certain how he knew Hat. He wasn't certain how he knew Hat.
Is he a cat?
Mad Hatter.
That's a friend of mine.
I'm just curious, what kind of hat? We're talking like fedora, baseball cap, what have you?
Trail
It's
bait.
one of those link.
Top
Top
hat.
hat.
Needs to be top hat. He could just feel her anxiety. I'm worried about her too, he said, laying a hand on her shoulder. Aliana, practicing her lightsaber, turned in a sudden moment of panic and cut his arm off. No, that's what I wish would happen, because you should never touch someone who has a drawn weapon, for fuck's sake. That's a bad idea.
No, not at all.
Aliana felt a dismissive retort begin to form in her throat, but she bit it back. This was Finn. She trusted him enough to be honest. Why? You've known him for all of a week.
But you see, Raymond, she has the script.
Someone's
Or
gotta
maybe-
take the script away from these fucking actors, man.
Or just starve for anyone to trust. I don't know.
Actually, that would be great. Just, I know there's probably some directors out there, but just like have a script, but don't ever actually give it to the characters, to the actors, and just have the actors like kind of ad-lib their way through scenes, hopefully hitting their marks. And if they don't, you just tap down like a Kubrick, but like even meaner. He wasn't. I wanted to keep her safe from this. I really did, she said solemnly. But one mistake, and I let that sleazy scumbag take her away. What if she isn't okay after this? She'll be fine. She will be, Finn said reassuringly. The first thing that girl did when I met her was knock me on my ass, and I'm a trained soldier. She's tough as Durasteel. If she has the potential you say she does, then she'll be okay. And we will save her, I promise. Be careful making promises you can't keep, Aliana said warningly before her expression softened.
Cortana did it better.
I was going to say, keep Cortana's words out of your fucking mouth.
I mean, maybe it's trying to get us better.
But thanks for being here. Someone's got to watch your back, Finn smiled, squeezing her shoulder. Aliana's eyes shimmered with unshed tears, and she leaned in and wrapped her arms around his shoulders, hugging him tightly. Thanks, Finn. Aliana, a weak start versus end.
This is a very quick, deep bond formed over near nothing happening between these two.
Yep.
But I mean,
I'm so invested.
I mean, it's Finn. The guy is a like S++ homie.
Rey needed to get out of these restraints. She knew enough to repel the Dark Jedi, somehow, but she didn't know how many repeated assaults she could endure before her strength would give out. She struggled at the restraints, trying to see if she could use the Force to unlock them, but it was no use. She could make the release lever wiggle, but she couldn't apply enough pressure to something she couldn't see. No, I'm not going to say it. Looking around the room, she saw the reflection of the armed guard at the doorway. See, that's what I love about this. We've gotten to the point where I can say that I'm not going to make a joke, and you're making the joke for me in your mind. And it's
Yes.
it's the most beautiful thing to me. I've infected all of you.
I've been infected.
Social engineering at its finest.
It's like Dwight in the fucking Starbursts. Looking around the room, she saw the reflection of the armed guard at the doorway. An idea struck her. If she could reach into someone's mind, maybe she could influence it. She pushed at the trooper's mind in the same way she'd pushed at Kylo Ren. With no other alternative, she just spoke aloud. You will remove these restraints and leave this cell with the door open. The trooper halted and walked into the room. Excuse me? He asked, none too kindly. Rey looked up at the trooper as he walked around the front of the table. It was pretty clear that her initial attempt didn't work. She bit back on the frustration, unsure of how a foot soldier's mind was harder to influence than a Dark Jedi's, and tried again. Stop highlighting! Why is Kylo even a threat? Why does anyone give a shit about Kylo? Evidently, Daniel Craig here can do a better job, all right?
Oh yeah, I forgot I was saying.
Yeah, fun fact, this trooper was played by Daniel Craig.
No, it's because he's James Bond, okay?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Way better than Kylo Ren.
I mean, granted, I would still say this trooper's a failure because he's obviously, like, I feel like they would say, hey, by the way, if any mystic goes, you're going to do something you never want to do. That's a fucking Jedi, idiot. Get back up. I don't know.
You will remove these restraints and leave this cell with the door open, she repeated. I'll tighten those restraints, scavenger scum. The trooper sneered at Rey. This was infuriating. The trooper's mind wouldn't give, and a tingling feeling in the back of Rey's mind told her that Kylo Ren was on his way. Oh, she has a Kylo Ren sense now. She couldn't afford to play games here. Her brow furrowed as she gave the stormtrooper a dirty look, her eyes narrowing on his throat. Her unseen power acting on her subconscious thought, the foot soldier suddenly felt an iron grip over his throat, stopping his breathing altogether. He frantically clawed at his neck, trying to pry whatever invisible power was strangling him, but to no avail.
What?
Okay.
Wait, that happened before?
What?
So
Hi.
we are swapping Jedi powers for Sith powers, effectively.
Of course we are.
Oh no.
Aw.
Oh,
Shame.
wow.
Lame.
Wow.
Her
Well-
Kylo Ren senses her ovaries, not the Force.
Oh my god.
Moopa!
Amazing.
Maybe the Force is just going like, listen, I'm detecting a Force-sensitive incel. I just want you to know it's coming towards you. I'm already getting complaints from HR over like a whole genocide I let happen.
Oh, but anyway, Jesus Christ, this is so... Okay, so she's going to threaten him now. You'll remove these restraints and leave the cell with the door open, she repeated again with venom in her voice. In a breathless plea for his life, the trooper responded, I'll remove the restraints. I'll leave the door open. And you will then be brutally murdered by Kylo Ren for your failure. And
then he says
compliance. Yeah, I was gonna say that would be the ultimate twist. Just the trooper just like harder, mommy, and she's like, what? Just
Oh
kills him.
no.
And then Rey just doesn't escape, and then Kylo gets inside and just goes, "What is wrong with you?"
I came back on the harder mommy bit. What the hell?
Now we know why the armor's white. Anyway. He reached out and fumbled with the controls for the restraints, unlocking them and freeing Rey's hands and feet. This didn't satisfy. Don't phrase it like that. However, and she glanced at his gun. Stop it! Fuck. Lily, stop. Please. There can only have so much innuendo in a tight space. Oh, god damn it, now I'm doing it. Fuck.
I mean, what do you expect? It's Lily. The girl is permanently on horny timing.
And you'll hand over your weapon. The trooper handed his rifle over to her and Rey took it. She released her grip on his throat and he took a large gasp of air, stumbling back and hitting the wall. Not losing a second, Rey lifted the rifle and pointed it at him. After just a few seconds of breathing, he nodded and stood up, hurrying to the door controls and opening them. For a very brief moment, he felt relief wash over him at having been allowed to live. Oh my god, that was when Rey fired the rifle and blasted clean through his helmet. The trooper collapsed onto the floor, and Rey stepped over him and hurried as far down the corridor as she could.
Jesus H. Christ! That is
a war crime.
Lily!
That's some Liam Neeson stuff.
Lily!
That's some Liam Neeson stuff right there.
Okay, let us take this from Lily's perspective. The stormtroopers are irrevocably evil. Let's then ignore the fact that Finn proved that they're not. But we'll live with this dissonance in our mind that the stormtroopers that we fight and see the heroes fighting are irrevocably evil. It doesn't change the fact that the first time you genuinely take a life changes you. It is a fundamental thing. Taking a life is not a small thing that anyone can just do, and Rey did not seem to have the proclivity to kill people completely out of the heat of combat. Like, I do not at all imagine Rey in any circumstance from the first film would be okay executing someone point blank.
Okay, it would
definitely
work.
not.
It would work much better if the stormtrooper, I don't know, try to pull a fast one on her, try to grab the gun out of her hand, and in the struggle, she accidentally popped him in the face.
What if last episode, like, she was hearing like the evil thoughts of Anakin when she touched his lightsaber? So what if she's like possessed by the dark side of Anakin or Vader in these moments? That's making her do all this shit.
Well, no, it's because Lily, because I do not for a second think that Lily thinks this was an evil action. Like that's the caveat here is I do not think at all Lily thinks that this was unjustified. I think Lily
definitely
is
not.
totally in the thinks that Ray's in the right.
It's more evil and
Hey,
dark
Kaiser.
aligned than anything Aliana has done in this fanfic. And
It
she's
legitimately
supposed to be a Sith.
is. Ray is so far eviler than her fucking Sith.
Is Ray
Just the way
actually
Lily likes
the
her.
Sith Resurgence and not Aliana?
Oh my
Guys, you got
god.
this all wrong. You guys have this all wrong. Lily just doesn't like Daniel Craig.
Okay, fair. I'm kidding. It's not okay. Daniel Craig's a fantastic actor. She once said in a video that
Yeah, he's
Zuko
a
was
really nice
never
guy.
evil because everything he did in book 1 was just him being on the side of the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I'm struggling right now to understand Lily's worldview. It is
Her worldview basically boils down to if somebody is a victim, then they have the right to do whatever the fuck they want in order to get back at their abusers.
Cycle of bullying.
Anyway, let's just continue. So on the evil scale, Ray just jumped to the current top of every single character we've seen except for Kylo.
Lovely.
So
Yeah.
But it's justified, Raymond, because
we've already been over this, Gio. We've already been over this. Let's keep going.
Sorry, fair enough. Yeah.
The trooper collapsed to the floor and Ray stepped over him and hurried as far down the corridor as she could. She knew she couldn't handle another confrontation, so she ducked into an access port and climbed through the maintenance shafts to the base. There had to be a way out of here. She just knew it. At that very moment, Kylo Ren turned the corridor she had just fled from and made his way to the interrogation chambers, not at all being able to sense her force presence leaving the room, not at all being able force-tuned. He opened the door to realize that the girl was nowhere to be found. Instead, he found a dead trooper with a blaster wound straight through the back of his head, his rifle pilfered from his person. No! Kylo muttered to himself, his body rumbling with a growing rage. The girl couldn't have escaped. How had she done it? She couldn't have used the Force. She had no training. No! He bellowed before drawing his lightsaber and slashing up the fallen trooper on the floor. His rage then turned into a his rage then turned into a chair. No. His rage then turned to the chair and the walls of the room, sparks and cinders flying everywhere. Everything had been ruined. The girl was nowhere to be seen, and somehow she had managed to escape. He had to find her before his fellow knights arrived, lest his failure be reported back to the Supreme Leader. He wouldn't fail. He couldn't fail. Outside, 2 stormtroopers stopped just short of the doorway to see sparks flying through the door, and Kylo Ren screaming inside. They looked down at the severed arm of the guard. The severed arm of the guard came flying out of the room and collided with the opposite wall of the corridor. See what I mean, Carl? First trooper said. Severance package. Okay,
so
I'm actually I kind of like that joke. I'm not gonna lie, but everything before that is stupid.
Yeah, I was gonna say the troopers seeing his rampage and then immediately like turning around and going the opposite direction was probably the best joke in the sequel trilogy in canon.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. This is a weaker version of it. I just think it's not a terrible joke. I do think it definitely undermines the situation, though.
Yeah.
Unlike that one, where I think they balance it just enough, where it's a little goofy and funny, but it's still relatively serious. It just feels like something very realistic someone would do.
I mean, it wouldn't really change if Ray Cold Stone shot a stormtrooper in the back of the head.
Yeah,
on a quick note.
You go, Petty.
Okay, on a quick note, so I do like the idea of like an unnaturally powerful but incredibly immature Sith Berserker type character. Like, that seems like a potentially fun threat. Definitely not main villain material, but this is just incel Kylo.
This is that's how Lily sees him.
Well, yeah,
it's just a wannabe Sith Lord incel douchebag. Like, look at any of her videos about him, basically.
To her, Kylo is just synthetic man.
Yeah, she's with a lightsaber.
I mean, I'll be
Raymond, I'll be 100% honest. give Kylo a little bit more credit than that.
No, I'm saying that's how she sees Kylo. I think Kylo's way better than Synthetic Man, but I'm just saying like that's how she interprets him.
Well,
I
aside
mean-
from the genocide,
I'm still bleaching my brain from that stream, by the way. On a completely separate note, if you want to talk about Synthetic Man again, I'll be there.
I'll,
okay.
I mean,
I'll bring the bleach.
I would sit through another Kylo scene before having to listen to Synthetic for another second.
Okay, here we go. Kid, we're coming in hot. We need you up here, Han called out from the cockpit. Aliana's eyes opened as Han's voice broke her meditation and she sighed. She pulled herself to her feet and made her way to the cockpit. The closer they got to finding Rey, the more anxious she felt. She couldn't keep her identity a secret anymore. Rey was going to find out she was a Sith the moment she found her. It wasn't like she could go through the entire base without the Force or her lightsaber. The thought made her nervous. She knew this day was coming, but the uncertainty in Rey's actions sent waves of anxiety up her spine. She sat down in a passenger chair and tried to relax as she wrapped the Falcon in a cloak of the dark side. Yeah, I wonder how cuddly that is. Like, it sounds cozy. I want a cloak of the dark side.
I too wish to have a cloak of the dark side.
Beside her, Han and Chewie looked around, feeling a chill run through. The cloak helps cover up the giant dick we painted on the side. No, wait, that's her ship. Never mind. Sorry, I forgot that wasn't the Falcon.
Imagine Hux looking out. They're like, there are fighters destroying us. They see a clip. They see a snapshot of one of the fighters. It's just a giant dick pointing at them.
The cloak is damp, Moopa. Why? That's the cloaks are there to keep you warm and dry. How? That's the opposite of what you want. She sat down in the passenger chair and tried to relax as she wrapped the Falcon in a cloak of the dark side. Beside her, Han and Chewie looked around, feeling a chill run through them as Aliana hid them in the Force. Neither of them were Force sensitive, but the technique the Sith was using gave them a foreboding feeling regardless. All right, get ready, Finn said as he entered the cockpit. We still have to bypass First Order patrols once we leave hyperspace. Already on that, Han said, his hands on the light speed switch. What? How? Finn asked. We exit hyperspace in the planet's atmosphere, Han explained. What? We can't do that, Finn protested. Sure we can, Han counted. If we're lucky. Chewie let out a roar in protest. Oh, don't take his side on it. Finn looked over at Aliana. Allie, a little help? I like this plan, she said, her eyes remaining closed. The faster we get on the planet, the better.
I mean, one small issue, you're
I kind of figured Aliana was the greedy type that's only into her own goals and is just there to rush to the end of things.
Aliana's the type of girl that asked for 2 presents instead of 1 on Life Day.
I mean, to be fair, I do.
She skips all the dialogue. She just mashes A.
I do find a certain kind of charm in like the plan that has a very tight margin of error. That is the furthest smallest decimal point I've ever seen. It's still an acceptable margin.
Okay. Did you
brace yourselves? Small chance of success.
Brace yourselves, Han shouted. We drop out now. With the flip of a switch, the Falcon dropped from hyperspace. The viewport flashed white for a moment before everyone in the cockpit was met with the sight of a tundra. Han pulled up hard.
Oh my god, they're here.
Oh no! Oh no!
They found us.
Open anti-aircraft fire! Shoot them down! I don't care if we take Harrison Ford with it. All right. Han pulled up hard, the back of the Falcon just scraping against the icy surface of the planet. With a grunt of frustration, he managed to put the Falcon back into the air just before they would have crashed into the side of a cliff. He sighed in relief as he lowered the Falcon again, flying down through a forest and clipping trees every step of the way. Pull up higher, Finn stressed, grabbing Han by the shoulder. If I do, their scanners will pick us up, and unless the Sith knows how to interfere with scanning technology... She's practically tech illiterate. Aliana opened one eye and glared at Finn. Well, there you go. Now sit down and shut up. The Falcon maintained its... Look, yeah. Finn and Han have the best rapport in this entire story.
Same, yeah.
They do.
I enjoy listening to them.
Not even Lily's dog ass can take away from how much these two vibe with each other.
The Falcon.
I think that says more about how they. Oh, Sorry, I think that says more about how good they are. That's impossible to fuck up that dynamic.
Yeah.
What a shock!
Oh,
Lily's
geez.
able to write male characters better than female. Ooh.
Objection.
I mean, at least-
Kylo Ren. Objection. I'd say Kylo Ren is a solid indictment against her.
Yeah, but she's doing that on purpose. That doesn't.
I
count.
guess. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
It's different when you're actually shooting yourself in the foot instead of trying to shoot the target.
My
Fine
God.
The Falcon maintained its course, and after a moment, they found a discreet clearing in the proximity of Precinct 47. They touched down, the freighter sinking slightly into the snow. All right, if you have anything heavier to wear, put it on now. Lily, that's not.
That's all.
I don't know how you.
You mean warmer?
No, she spelled wear as in the location as opposed to wear as in put on clothing. And I'm like, my brain is breaking from trying to imagine what that conceptually looks like from the grammar of that sentence. Heavier
If you have
to
anything
wear.
to location, then put it on now.
Alaska.
They they put on a radar unit as like a coat.
I'm currently wearing the state of Rhode Island. I hope I'm properly insulated.
Texas make my ass look fat.
I am wearing Star Killer base. It makes me very comfy.
Han warned, "This planet is as cold as hell." Aliana nodded as she stood up and headed for the cargo hold where she'd stashed her gear. Pulling out her cloak, she slipped it on and fastened it beneath her belt. She always liked wearing her cloak. It made her feel more like a proper Sith. For all her subterfuge, Aliana had no actual shame about being a Sith. On the contrary, she was quite proud of it and had been ever since her mother had been killed. Rey was the first time she had ever hesitated about identifying herself, largely because of her experience in doing so in the past. Her pride in where she came from didn't exactly make her any friends. It was just how she actually cared. Okay, wait, she's proud of it, but she doesn't typically wear the robes because they out her and people give her trouble, but she has no problems identifying herself as a Sith. Lily, what the fuck is this character?
It's fucking
She's so
sick,
contradictory.
Do you know what pride is? Pride means you don't give a fuck. Like,
Pride comes before the fall.
Well,
I mean, you say that like we all know Lily knows what pride is. She lives and breathes it. Only it.
No, let's be clear. She has false bravado, not true pride. She is a coward at the end of the day. She is a snake that will slit any throat on her way to getting more and more for herself. We all know this.
I'm gonna say, if she was actually prideful, she would have DMCA'd June the King instead of Anthony.
Yep.
Let's be honest.
Anyway, she pulled her gloves on and hooked her lightsaber onto her belt when she felt Han standing at the doorway watching her. "What is it?" She asked, turning her head back to acknowledge him. "You look distracted," Han said as he fastened a heavy glove onto his hand. You forgot the power glove! Anyway, anything you want to deal with before you need to absolutely focus on the mission? The Sith sighed heavily. "It's just," Aliana trailed off, "I've never felt shame for who I was before. The Sith have a reputation, to be sure, but my family always took pride in our heritage. It's why they got burned at the stake, by the way. So do I. But I care about Rey, and because of that, I came the closest I've ever been to feeling ashamed for being a Sith." She hung her head low, her thick curly hair falling down to conceal her face. "What would Mother think of me if she saw me like this?" I think she'd see a girl who's in love and who doesn't want to risk losing someone she cares about," Han said, sitting down on a crate. "Do you really think she'd be disappointed in you for that?" Aliana just goes like, "Well, yeah, that's what got her killed." It's like, oh. Well, yeah, then don't do that.
I'm just gonna say, like, Sith heritage, it feels real rich when, like, the genocide of the Jedi was, like, in living, well, maybe not in
No, it's in
Like-
living memory. It's like 60 years
living
ago.
memory.
Okay, yeah, like in living memory, it's like that. You maybe want to think about what the Sith as a whole are kind of.
No, those weren't real Sith. Those aren't real Sith. Lily,
They're dark Jedi.
Aliana is a no true Scotsman of Sith.
Real Sith
Oh, no.
has never been tried.
Yes, exactly.
The real rule of two has never been tried.
Oh my god, I hate
Look,
that.
if this
I love
story
that.
ends with Rey becoming a more powerful Sith and killing Aliana, I'd actually be kind of down for that.
I'd love it.
Anyway,
Yeah, actually.
Aliana looked up briefly as she fumbled with her belt. No, I guess not, but that doesn't make me any less scared to face Rey. I've been lying to her for long enough that there's no way she isn't going to be furious with me. I haven't felt this scared since Corellia. Han let out a somber sigh. As unfortunate as it was, they were still on a timetable. He placed a hand on Aliana's shoulder before talking. I get that you're scared you'll lose her for telling the truth, but there's still a chance that she'll get over it. But only if you... Wait, is there more? Still there's a chance that she'll get over it, but only if you and her live long enough to get off this rock before it blows. Think you can make that happen? Aliana clenched her jaw slightly, before taking a deep breath and looking Han in the eyes. You mean I can bust through this precinct, lightsaber blazing, cut through the First Order defenses, turn off the shield generator to the base, and grab Rey from whatever hellish torture that slimeball Kylo Ren is putting her through on the way out? Yes, Han replied. In my sleep, she answered. That...
Oh boy.
There are times where lines like that can work. When you're a smug prick that's not actually worried about pulling any of that shit off, it doesn't. Like, the fun of a joke like that is you are genuinely anxious and unsure if you'll be able to pull it off. I've gotten no sense of humility from Aliana. So a line like that rings completely hollow to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would probably only actually work in this tone if we were, like watching a freaking dumb fun action show where it's just about the main character being this overpowered and badass or whatever. But that doesn't fit in Star Wars, but fuck it.
Speaking of, everyone go check out the anime Instant Kill in Another World. That's a hilarious isekai. No, it's genuinely good. I do recommend it. It's like absolutely delicious schlock. It knows what it is. Anyway,
you recommended that with a sigh of long suffering. Forgive my skepticism.
Twy, it is up to you now.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Are you ready, Twy?
Here we go.
Good.
Good answer.
We're not ready. We're not ready.
We're never ready. That's
Okay.
the whole point.
Okay.
Rey took a moment to breathe as she hid inside the access point in the main corridor. It had been an hour of crawling from tunnel to tunnel, hurrying down corridors and dodging stormtroopers. On one occasion, she'd actually hid from Kylo Ren's senses by thinking the kind of thought she'd imagined a stormtrooper would think.
What?
What?
Too OP, please nerf in the next patch.
Oh.
What is a stormtrooper? Okay, what does Rey imagine a stormtrooper is normally thinking about? Like, don't think about murder, don't think about murder, don't think about murder, don't think about murder, don't think about murder.
I mean, if he's a Marine, it's just like, oh dang, no crayons in last patch. Platoon sergeant says we're gonna starve to death.
I was gonna say, oh, they ran out of the orange crayons. That was my favorite. Oh damn, I have to eat all the green crayons now. We all know the green ones aren't ripe.
Followed immediately by just a 1,000-mile stare while thinking about Space Nam.
Art, are you ready for this? Me, I was C-sectioned. I was literally born not ready.
Oh my god.
Lightning? How? That is such an amazing line.
One of these days, Lightning will miss. But that day is not today.
Captain Phasma's been riding our butt fighting cranes.
Every man is prepared for what every man born of woman's loins is prepared for what I am bringing. Ah, but I, Macduff, was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
I love Macduff.
Raymond, I kind of really dig the Shakespeare version of that line.
Anyway,
Nice.
it had actually worked, and he didn't even notice where she was hiding. Which shouldn't work, because he would automatically think, why is a stormtrooper thinking about not murdering people in the closet?
Oh my god.
No, that's just Frank. He's dealing with a lot of repression issues. Like, don't worry, he'll come out of the closet sometime, I promise.
Maybe we need to reevaluate the psych test for Stormtrooper.
Ah, you're saying there's a repressed stormtrooper in the closet.
Hey, yo. Help, I'm being repressed.
Oh dear.
That was a trick that she would have to remember. She needed to rest. This much climbing, crawling, and stealth. Just stealth, I guess.
She's wearing a bandana now, by the way.
Yeah. Had left her exhausted, and she was still nowhere near the exit or a hangar bay. The base was simply too large. As she sat nestled among wires and cables, she quietly wondered where Finn and Aliana were. She didn't dare hope that they were coming for her. She'd made that mistake before, and now staying put wouldn't do her any good. Whatever the Sith wanted for her, she had to assume she had given up. Uh-huh.
Literally have no evidence whatever that Aliana wanted anything from you other than companionship. In fact, you have every single indication that she wanted to spend way more time with you. Oh, she probably got everything she needed out of me. I'm just going to ignore her and forget about her. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm
Also,
trying to get it.
where did this sudden character development come from?
She's like, they had like the moment of like, oh, she's a Sith. She's lied to me. Oh no! That's where this came from.
I was gonna say from my ass.
Also,
Same thing.
Lily's ass. Lily's ass. I'm trying to get away, but my force presence is dummy thick and keeps alerting Kylo Ren.
Black Wolf 249 says, here's a couple of recommendations for this series. SpongeBob Vietnam by Sonic and Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles. We've actually already read the Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles. It is recorded. Yes. No idea when we'll release it. We're Zelkami right now is still hard at work finishing off the next episode of Blood Raining Nights.
Blood Raining Night.
And I can't wait for that one to release. He's done a great job.
How do you have that?
Great job.
So quickly.
How?
Fucking how?
He's a fucking god, that's how. Literally built different.
I'm in the same voice call as a fucking trickster god. I'm kind of scared for my life.
What? He's locked in.
Lightning.
Okay, no, if
wait, no, hold on. I've seen this
Lightning
before.
was any more locked in, he'd be in fucking Alcatraz.
I mean, who knows? Maybe that's where he's casting spells from.
True.
Anyway.
I locked in 30 minutes.
Anyway.
Let's continue, guys.
Let's see.
I think she had to rely.
She had to rely on herself and these abilities that she was only just beginning to understand. With enough rest, she could probably compel another hapless trooper to do her bidding. But to what end? If she could maybe find a hangar, she could hijack a ship and get off the planet. That plan came with an entire cascade of problems, but admittedly, her options were very limited. If she didn't think of something, she may very well just sit where she was and wait for death. Something she was not interested in doing. God, what these cut sentences, Jesus. Even as hopeless as her situation had become, she physically couldn't find it within herself to give up. There had to be some way out of this place. She knew it. After another moment, she had fully caught her breath and peeked out from the access point. The corridor was empty, and Ray felt brave enough to hurry through it to try and find some place to get her bearings. As she tore off down the hallway, she felt overcome with an enormous wave of sadness and fear. It felt just as alien to her as the hatred she'd felt the last time she looked Aliana in the eye, but it also felt duller. It wasn't the same kind of sensation. It was a lot more distant and felt like it was closing around her rather than coming from inside her. Maybe she was sensing the feelings of someone this time? But who? She couldn't imagine Kylo Ren feeling like this, and his thoughts had felt a lot louder and clearer for whatever reason. Still, it was something she recognized. The presence. The way the sadness and fear rippled over her. There was something familiar about it. Almost comforting. And she stopped dead in her tracks as it hit her. She'd felt this similar kind of sensation on the Fury, when she was thrown into the wall and Aliana had been checking her to see if she was all right. Was she feeling Aliana? Through the Force?
Yes.
Was she sad? Scared? About what? She shook her head. She couldn't focus on whatever this feeling was. Because as we know, Aliana is the only person who could ever feel emotions like that. Not when her life was on the line. Her own survival was priority here. She wouldn't waste her time hoping for someone else to come for her. Never again. Her fate was in her own hands now.
Oh dear.
Wow.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Stormtroopers are unfeeling drones. That's what Rey tells herself, rationalizing the murder.
She says, murdering yet 3 more people in the process of trying to escape. They get into the base and they're like, Rey, we've come to save. They just look around and it's like there is just not a drop of white in the hallway. It is just blood from floor to ceiling.
Ooh.
Like one of them's just crawling away and Rey just shoots
I was gonna say Rey escalates from going from I've killed this person to escape to I now torture and kill and flay my victims for the fun of it. Like that's
she's Ramsay Bolton.
or a Night Lord from like 40K. Conrad Kurz might be wanting her number.
You okay, Raymond?
Lightning's post. Oh, why would there be drops of white in the first place? Because they have like white corridors, or is it like I guess still gray? That's what I really meant.
All right. Aliana grunted as she forced her lightsaber through an unsuspecting stormtrooper and kicked him down into the chasm. Why the First Order didn't install guardrails completely eluded her, but they proved useful for disposing of the bodies. Han, Finn, and Chewie followed along behind her, watching her back and peripherals as she led them through the massive complex.
I now want to see this fight scene where they're just chucking people off a cliff.
No. It's even better than that. She's literally like Dark Souls 1 backstab and then kick them off a cliff.
I don't know. I find it funny.
Just watch any early Let's Play of Dragon's Dogma where you just chuck people off cliffs.
Sounds about right.
Finn instructed her on which way the shield generator controls could be found. Do you actually know how to shut down the shield generator? Aliana asked as she used the Force to mind control a stormtrooper and make him jump into the chasm. Holy shit, Aliana.
Wow.
Literally.
Everyone's committing murder.
That is
literally.
You know what? I don't know if this is still worse than Rey or not. I don't know. I think it's about
So it's a contest of
It's about on
icing
par.
someone from the back of the head or weaponized suicide.
Jesus.
Like I think it's worse for Rey specifically because Aliana is a Sith and we at least know that she's probably murdered people before.
Yeah.
Rey has just been on her own all of her life, not murdering people.
The irony of a character committing murder and assassinating their own character. Lily would be a terrible time playing MSG3 for her stealth preferences is to kill everyone. Oh my god, I would love to see her play through and then encounter the fucking sorrow. That would be amazing. She would have such a miserable time, she would never figure out the trick to that boss.
Oh, not at all.
Finn attempted to ignore the admittedly cold-blooded technique Aliana just used and attempted to give her a satisfactory answer. There needed to be a comma there, Lily.
Cold-blooded, I'd say psychotic technique.
I mean, we got lightsabers. That should do the trick, shouldn't it? Aliana glared at Finn. If hitting something with lightsabers was enough to bring the entire base down, Kylo Ren would have done that for us long ago. Getting to the generator won't get us very far if we don't know how to shut it off. How do you know that he just swings his lightsaber around?
Yeah,
just
randomly
also, walking down the
why
hallways?
would you I mean, I know it's a joke at his expense, but that's one of the dumbest lines possible. It's just like, oh, he would have done it for us. This is a base the size of a planet, miss.
Yeah.
What, do you think he just takes casual strolls and goes into a raging fit right next to? I guarantee you, there is not enough time in the day for him to have marked up every single inch of space on this fucking planet for the next 1,000 years.
I mean, he streams just slicing up the hallways every Monday for his space.
Hi guys,
channel.
it's me, Kylo Ren, back at it again with cutting up the hallway. This week we're in section 1837, and we're going to surprise the maintenance crew that came down here after my last rampage a month ago. Don't worry, guys. Get ready for some wild reactions.
It's like that video of
Kylo Ren
picking up a knife and then cutting something with it, except it's with lightsabers.
Kylo Ren would have a channel of him destroying the everything, but edited like a how-to basic video.
At the very end, just throws an egg at it.
Aliana lifted her hand and signaled for them to stop as she heard the loud and disciplined footsteps of a commanding officer. She looked up to see a stormtrooper in extremely shiny Durasteel gear and a side cape walking the catwalk overhead. "Who's that?" she asked. "Captain Phasma," Finn said with a shudder. "She commands the ground troops. I'm surprised she hasn't heard us yet. Maybe we should shut the fuck up and stop talking when she's around."
No, don't worry. As long as they're thinking about what stormtroopers would be thinking about, which is don't think about murder. Don't think about murder. Don't think about murder. She won't
Don't think
notice
about murder.
Aliana pursed her lips and thought, "You think she knows how to turn off the generator?" Finn's face lit up as he understood what Aliana was getting at. "Oh, absolutely." "Great. Lead us to somewhere we can cut off her patrol," Aliana said as she glanced back at Chewie. "Get ready to body slam a captain?" Ready to body slam a captain? Chewie growled in agreement. "I like you."
And Aliana's like, not all Chewies are bad. Or Wookiees, my bad.
1,000-degree lightsaber versus maintenance panel.
So I wonder if Phasma will be just as useless here as she was in canon.
You know, they might actually provide more of a reason why she would do what she did, because now you've got an active Sith on your side doing mind trick shit. So
lovely.
Finn directed them to the upper level, dispatching stormtroopers every step of the way. Phasma's patrol took her around the main corridors and causeways in a route that extended 20 kilometers. 20 kilometers?
Jesus
Christ! This is the worst time to bring up the metric
Do you know how kilometers work?
Also, I'm just imagining one of those guys goes, "Oh, hi, Ethan. No, why, blip?"
Hey, Alexa, what's 20 kilometers in miles?
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ, 12 miles!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jesus, like I knew that was a lot, but I'm like, God damn.
I don't care.
Gwendolyn
Alright.
Christie's thighs, man.
Do you know
Oh damn.
how long it takes to walk that much?
Yes,
And she's
considering
in
that
full steel armor.
considering that
And
like
I
on my
would walk
regular
12
route when I walk twice a week. My regular route takes me about 1 hour to do, and it's 3 miles. So that means she's walking a 4-mile route, a 4-hour route at minimum if she's keeping a steady pace, which is no guarantee she's not going to make stops or such like that. Jesus Christ, in that armor? No.
Yeah. If they missed her, it would take an hour to find her again, which was time they didn't have.
More than an hour.
Yeah.
Several hours.
God, Lily, you should know how long 20 kilometers is. It's so easy.
Nah, Google is
Lily's
sexist.
Canadian, yeah?
Yeah, we use kilometers.
Yeah, so
They
no
use-
excuses.
they use the measuring system the rest of the world uses.
Yeah,
Yeah, can't use the Moose Country card.
especially if they wanted to find Ray and blow the base before the Republic was completely destroyed. You know, this is a lot more familiar than I thought it would be, Han remarked as they climbed the access hatch to the upper levels. How so? Aliana asked. On the Death Star, we had a Jedi with us, Han explained, checking below him to make sure Chewie wasn't lagging behind. Hopefully this ends better.
I don't.
What happened to him? Vader killed him. Vader killed him. That's comforting, Aliana said sarcastically as she pushed open the access port.
It is to me. Because it means you might die, Aliana.
The entire group climbed out of the hatch as quickly as they could. With quiet but hurried steps, they rushed to catch up with Phasma. I don't think that's how stepping fast works, but okay.
It's
That's not how
also
the Force works.
Don't worry, they're doing
So-
the crouch step that you do in every video game where you stealth. You're just crouching down and walking like on your tippy toes a little bit to try and sneak up behind someone.
oh, so like they've been taking out guards over the area of like 20 kilometers. I feel like at a certain point, people would notice, hey, there's like a huge gap in where people should be reporting in.
Yeah, I feel like there's like it'd be a couple of stormtroopers walking up behind, like, what the fuck? Why are like all of our friends unconscious?
It's very telling that the Payday Gang is more canonically competent at taking out people in stealth games than this.
Okay, I want to give the floor briefly to Dreadnought because he was trying to say something.
My apologies.
No, it's fine.
Sorry, doing that crouch run has got to be hell on Han's knees.
Oh, but dude, you know what? No one skips leg day in the Star Wars universe.
That's
Apparently not.
Okay, now we can move on.
Crossing the catwalk, they made it to the causeway that intersected with the main corridors. Aliana motioned for the group to hang back. She closed her eyes and reached out with her senses. Her augmented hearing caught the sound of footsteps heavier than most stormtroopers. Chewie, she whispered, calling him to the front of the group. The Wookiee stood by, ready to sprint down the walkway on command. Ollie narrowed her gaze at the end, not waiting until Phasma was in sight before she signaled Chewie to charge. By the time the captain was about to turn the corner, the Wookiee struck true, tackling her into the wall. Alana drew her lightsaber and pointed at Phasma's throat. "Hello, Captain," she smiled. "You must be the Sith that disgraced the General," Phasma grunted, coughing from the sheer force of Chewie slamming her into the wall. That was a very unnecessary half of the sentence. "Nice to know I'm appreciated. Now you're going to help us kill all of your friends," Aliana grinned almost sadistically.
Almost?
Why would I do that?
Almost?
Almost sadistically.
You were
yeah.
literally saying, hey, we're going to blow up every single living being on this fucking planet. Go ahead and be sadistic with it. Why not?
I
Hey,
believe I believe this is confirmation that Aliana hangs the toilet paper under rather than over. Like a true villain.
Hey, bitch, want to commit a genocide?
Why would I do that? Phasma countered. Aliana could almost hear the scowl from behind the helmet.
Lightning, stop. Lightning, that's not fair. That's sweet.
Oh dear.
Chewie, I'm trying to sneak around, but I'm dummy old, and the crack of my knee joints keep alerting the stormtroopers.
It's like so every time Han steps, it's like the Halloween skeleton, just like.
It sounds like a Star Wars Lego sound effect every time.
Might as well put me in front of me to carry me the whole way through.
Because otherwise you're going to find out how the dark side can make you feel your limbs being burnt to a crisp after I already removed them from your person. Aliana explained. That was way too long to be an effective threat, Aliana.
Yeah, if I were Gwendolyn Christie, I'd just be like, now, could you I'm going to give you a chance. Please rework that. Like, I'm embarrassed for you.
Well, you have to go back to simple threats. Remember in Princess Bride of, like, where's the key? I don't have a key. Fezzik, rip his arms off. Oh, you mean this key?
That's a good story and with good writing.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. But I'm just saying, simple's usually better for threats.
Phasma was quiet for a moment. The shield controls are that way. Aliana motioned for Finn to keep her at gunpoint, who approached with a wary look on his face as he motioned for Phasma to follow. You're a little scary sometimes, you know that? It helps to be terrifying, Aliana said, glancing down the chasm. What she saw made her heart leap. Hey, Finn, you think you can handle the shields on your own? Maybe. Why? Aliana pointed down 2 levels below, and Finn followed her to see Ray crawling out the trench wall and up into the causeway. His eyes widened as he looked at Aliana. Yeah, I can handle this. Make sure she's safe.
Is that a desert scavenger from Jakku? At this time of day, located entirely within this particular section of an entire planet-sized installation? Yes.
Yeah.
May I see it? No. I did. To be fair, this isn't on Lily. This is on the original. That was so fucking dumb.
Be like a moving cardboard box.
Got it, Aliana smiled, grabbing Finn's shoulder and giving it an affectionate squeeze.
Oh, my shoulder.
We'll meet up later. Finn nodded and turned back to Phasma, his rifle trained on her back, and the group ushered her over to the shield controls. Aliana meanwhile lowered herself down to drop down the catwalk below. She landed 1 level lower, then the other. By the time she was level with Ray, the other woman's back was to her, and she was frantically pointed her rifle to and fro. To and fro. Clearing her throat, Aliana prepared herself for the moment of truth. She decided to speak softly, wanting to get Ray's attention without giving her a reason to fire blindly behind her. Hello there, she said plainly.
Ray turns around immediately.
Oh, wait, guys, she's at the line. Hello there.
Oh, right. No, sorry, no, I'm choosing to ignore that. That she's not worthy.
Oh, wait a second. Speaking of Ben Kenobi, is any this could just be me, but I feel like Lily in some way wanted to, like, I don't know, write Aliana's like Sith version of Ben Kenobi, and all I have to say to that is trust me, you are not that guy. You're not that guy.
They couldn't even get Ben Kenobi right after they wrote Ben Kenobi. So I mean,
correct.
Oh, Sky said
what his name is Obi-Wan.
Sky said
Aliana, I saw the Sith.
Guys,
Aliana, I saw this. Oh, no,
guys. Sky Slasher says, couldn't join tonight, but this is my contribution to the convo. Happy Bad Fanfic. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ooh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, let's get back to it.
Ray whipped around, rifle in position, only for her eyes to widen at the sight of Aliana. Miss me? Aliana asked right before a blaster bolt just barely missed the side of her face. Whoa!
Jesus Christ, Ray! Holy shit!
I now have a taste for
blood. I was gonna say, she got a taste. Oh no!
You're a right shooter.
I mean, I know Star Wars based off the Vietnam War, but holy crap.
Stay back, Sith, Ray warned. Aliana felt her chest tighten at Ray's anger. She already knew. Despite her anxiety, she didn't turn away as much as a part of her wanted to cut her losses and run. She couldn't, not without getting them off this planet first. Rey, we came back for you, she said slowly, keeping her hands elevated from her sides and away from her lightsaber. Rey kept her rifle trained on Aliana. You really like the rifle trained words, don't you? Jeez, you've used that 3 times already in like a single page.
I don't know if she likes it or more she just doesn't know how to say the same thing over and over again and doesn't realize she doesn't necessarily need to over and over
It's a
again.
crutch.
Yeah.
Alliteration.
And also, what's the training regimen for a rifle? Does it like do push-ups and stuff?
Moving on.
A storm of conflicting feelings raging inside her mind. Who's we? She demanded. Finn, Han, and Chewie, Aliana replied. They're on the upper levels. We can meet up with them and then get off this planet together. Why should I believe you? Rey spat back. After all the time you spent lying to me. Aliana was silent. It hurt her to see Rey this angry at her, despite how much she knew she deserved it. Look, Rey, I was wrong to keep the truth from you. It was a stupid, selfish, and narrow-minded thing to do. I lied to you about being a Sith, and I'm sorry. But right now, your safety matters more to me than whatever you may think of me. If you're willing to trust me just long enough to get you away from this place, I promise I will never bother you again. Okay? The rifle shook and...
I was gonna say, honey, bitches, you're in the middle of a heavily occupied like super carrier. Can you like hurry the fuck up?
I know. The melodrama is just so much.
Do you believe love can
It
bloom on a
is.
battlefield, Snake?
You know, I like soap opera as much as the next guy, not the time or place.
Uh-huh.
Speed it up a little.
What the genre, really? The rifle shook in her grip. This could have been a trick. She could have lowered her guard for a split second, and that would have spelled the end for her. That was what these Sith were known to do. But she came back for her. Her friends came back for her. Something she'd wanted to hear ever since she was little. And now it was happening. Slowly but surely, Rey lowered her weapon. Amidst the sorrow welling inside of her that she had, in fact, ruined everything, Aliana felt a twinge of relief that Rey was agreeing to trust her for now. Your lightsaber, Rey said firmly. Give it to me. Aliana didn't even hesitate and removed her lightsaber from her belt, holding it by the emitter as she slowly stepped forward and held it out to her.
Aliana's like, haha, Soul Guy Kylo's. You said mine, not his.
No, she grabs it, but she doesn't know how to work it, so she accidentally activates it while it's pointing right towards Aliana and just stabs her.
Now, I could be wrong, but I feel like the pace dies a horrible death the moment we are placed in either Aliana or Rey's headspace.
It does.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It does.
News fest over here.
I also think that it's really stupid that Rey would trust Aliana enough to not be like, just kick it over to me. I don't want you anywhere near me while holding that lightsaber.
Yeah, no, okay, but she wouldn't trust, like, she shouldn't be doubting her trust in Aliana at all at this point. Aliana has given her no reason other than just not revealing who she is, which isn't a big deal when you're people that have known each other for the grand total of, like, 10 days at most.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if I actually were part of a cult, I might not lead with that. I'm just putting that out there.
But if you were part of a cult.
I mean, I don't really talk about it, but if you're interested, I have a few pamphlets.
I mean, where do you think the popcorn bucket came from?
It was
our Lord and Savior, Colonel Sanders.
Oh my god.
Rey took it and was briefly surprised at how heavy it was. She stared down at it, seeing it in a much different light than she was used to.
Especially because it's in the sunlight.
Is it hard to bear, Rey? Its weight, its girth.
Does it hurt?
I see your Schwartz is bigger than mine.
Knowing it wasn't in fact a scare prop, and that it was Aliana's actual weapon made it seem a lot more frightening. She handled it carefully, not wanting to activate it with her own chest. Into her own chest, sorry. And stuck it into the wraps of her tunic. She finally looked up at Aliana and cursed herself for not being able to ignore how beautiful she was. Now is not the time!
Look, when you have the adrenaline, you just gotta get the horny. The horny just happens. You just gotta let it.
That wasn't love. That was adrenaline, bad choices, and tequila.
Precisely. That is all this fic is.
Allosexuals are weird. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right.
Wait, I'm sorry.
What?
She was so angry and hurt, and still didn't know what she wanted with her. But looking into Aliana's beautiful crimson eyes still cut through all that and made her feel ever so slightly safer. All right, Ray said more softly than she wanted to. Where now? Aliana couldn't help but feel a small smile creep to her lips as she gestured behind her. This way. The others are turning off the shield generator to this place before the resistance arrives to destroy it. Where are we meeting them? Just outside the base's oscillator, Aliana said, pointing behind Ray at a corridor heading out to the east. That way. Ray motioned for Aliana to walk in front of her, and Aliana took the implication. What?
What? She's like, it's not implied. It is a non-verbal order.
Well, also because, she doesn't, she can't say no. Aliana can't say no because of the implication.
I hope in the unauthorized sequel, amongst the many war crimes, they add in subjecting people to the terrible prose of their ill-timed love story.
Are you saying that should be a war crime levied against the characters or against Lily? Because the answer is yes.
Yes.
I heard 3 people say yes, which is very telling.
Took the implication and led her out toward the exit. The two walked in silence, with Aliana able to feel the conflicted emotions coming off of Ray with every step. She wanted to say something, to try and explain herself. She wanted to just tell her everything. But she let herself get distracted now. They'd be ambushed. So the two continued to walk in silence, with Ray glancing at her on occasion. You were right about one thing, Ray said, breaking the silence. Aliana looked back at Ray, her expression puzzled. Kylo Ren is a grease stain, Ray added. A small smile once again graced the Sith's lips. Ugh.
So this chapter ended up ruining Ray.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh. Wait, did the
I'm
chapter
kind of
end?
impressed, actually.
Yeah, we're at the very end. We finished the chapter. We're at the end.
Oh, yay! Merciful Lord! My faith is renewed.
Lily doesn't know how to separate chapters.
That was
Not
really
at
abrupt.
all.
Oh,
I don't.
Sky's just says grease.
Jesus.
But yeah, you. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that was a very jarring ending.
Yeah.
I guess, if we retitled this chapter "War Crimes" against both the audience and the stormtroopers, we'd be on point.
Yes.
I mean, this is Star Wars. Have you seen how many war crimes they get up to in Clone Wars?
Anakin is intentional.
Well,
But
Anakin is a war
here's
crime machine.
Here's a little advice. It's not a war crime as long as you're winning.
In the words of the fat electrician, it's not a war crime the first time.
It's not a war crime until Canada does it.
Exactly. Also, you gotta remember, guys, in Star Wars, it's not the Geneva Convention; it's a checklist.
But yeah, no, I just cannot get over that this person that has so far, I think, has Rey killed anyone directly in this story, like outside
Up
of
to this point?
I think did they put her in the guns Is that it during the
No, I
Falcon
thought she
chase?
was driving. She was driving, and Finn was on the gun.
Where was Aliana then? Oh, she was in her own ship, wasn't
in
she?
the other ship, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
she was in her own.
so yeah, Rey has,
Rey-
I don't think, hit another. She even missed all the stormtroopers when she was panicking. Like, she actually failed to kill them, right?
Well, no, Raymond. I think when she and Aliana were in the Fury after fighting Kylo Ren, she was on the guns. I think.
Yeah, but there's still a degree of separation between you firing at like a Tonka truck and then you realizing that there's a person inside that Tonka truck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you want a good example of this, Eureka 7 has an amazing,
I was gonna say Gundam.
amazing moment where, like, it comes to hit a character. Oh yeah, all those robots we've been blowing up have people piloting them. I've been killing people this whole time, and it fucks him up royal.
Oh yeah,
Right.
So the idea being that, like, you have a distinction there as opposed to, I do not think for a second like Renton would be able to shoot someone point blank until very late in the series, and even then, I don't know if he'd ever go through with it.
No, he's very staunchly very pacifistic after that moment. Like, he does not want to kill people unless if he absolutely has to.
Also, Rey has the Force, and it's made clear in canon several times that you can feel people die through the Force. So, yeah.
Oh
Also,
my god!
Mupa, what
so
did you
that
post?
PTSD hits even harder.
Mupa, what is that? Why am I looking at Judy Hopps talking about to Spike Spiegel?
I wanted to ignore it. Why are you acknowledging it? Stop.
Wait. Judy Hopps and Spike Spiegel. Wait, what's going on?
Look in voice chat
this
and enjoy it.
Good, actually.
Yeah, it's
Utopia 2 looks awesome, by the way.
What are they saying? What are they saying?
You don't want to
I
know.
the original post and what they're saying, but I'm not going to repeat it. It's not anything not safe for work, but it's just like it's too complicated to explain.
Anyway, so yeah, this chapter ruined Rey. So far, Finn and Han are still kind of okay. Han's still giving life advice to Rey that I don't think he really should. To Aliana, that I don't think he should. They haven't made Phasma better. I thought Phasma was going to get brainwashed, but no, they're just going to do the same thing they did before. And Phasma is going to basically turncoat on the entire First Order. So that plot line is still intact. That
I mean, Finn's still a traitorous sociopath. That should still be.
I still can't get over how good of a nugget of gold this one chapter note is. If you enjoyed this chapter, leave a comment explaining why. What's wrong with you? Why do you have such bad taste?
That's
forced to eat your shit, Ellie.
I hate to burst your bubble, but that's the way she starts every single chapter. You just haven't noticed it until now.
Now, okay, to be fair though,
I keep missing the start of every chapter because I'm either finishing my dinner so I can actually make it. Because in my time zone, this starts at 7 o'clock.
I see.
Okay, now listen. I enjoyed this chapter because I found the cold-blooded murder to be absolutely insane, and I was like, okay, this is entertaining on a what the fuck level.
Well, then we also get like, I'll just hide from Kylo Ren by thinking Stormtrooper thoughts, and then what are Stormtrooper thoughts? No elaboration. No elaboration whatsoever, and so we just have to presume it's don't murder people.
QOP, like she immediately is like a master of the Force, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so you can't, like, the mind suggestion was a push. Like, that was already a really, really, really big leap for Rey to be able to do, and it's one of the major reasons that kickstarted everyone trying to theorize her having some lineage that was her secret source of ability. But my God, jumping right to force choking, which requires it's not just like a weird like psychic thing where you can maybe like influence people without realizing it. You are physically gripping something with telekinesis with that.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Also, I kind of wanted them to pull off Phasma's helmet and Aliana to immediately go, actually, guys, you know what? I'm going to switch sides. Because,
Dude, you know, honestly, if they pull off like okay, so 10-1, do you think that she'll redeem? Do you think she has any problem with Phasma and how underutilized Phasma is, or do we think that she's just going to use Phasma in the same way that the original series did?
I think it's gonna be the exact same.
I don't think she's really interested in Phasma.
Yeah, that's the sensation I get.
There's not really a lot you can do with Phasma, to be honest, because she's on screen for like a total of 20 minutes, and that's about it.
A good writer can make something out of that.
I mean, like, you can make her, like, you could have, like, maybe a thing about how, like, have the Stormtroopers view her as kind of just a hard ass and a kiss up or something. Like, you can make a character.
Yeah, like, there's plenty to work with from what little we've gotten with Phasma. Like, we actually, she could be a really good, strong antagonist, but she never does anything.
I mean, her
backstory is actually really interesting in the books, and it also says like in the Wikipedia or whatever, that after she got out of the garbage chute and escaped, she kind of went on a little mini purge to make sure that no one would tell higher up. So, yeah,
there's,
I don't know, man.
I mean, there's a lot there with the fact that she got out of the garbage chute and somehow survived. Like, that's what's fascinating about her, is that she has this moral upstanding, I am a member of the First Order and I'm hard ass about it all the way. First Order all the way. We're going to do everything. But then every one of her actions after that speak of someone who's incredibly cowardly. She lowers the shield generator at threat of death, even though she seems to be a hard ass about loyalty. And then she not only escapes where she was thrown, but manages to escape the planet somehow before it was blown up, which implies that she knew it was going to get blown up and, like, basically didn't tell anyone. Like, or
the fuck out.
Yeah, she pieced the fuck out, which, I mean, she could have told someone, I suppose, but like, she left. She got out of there. She is a coward, and actually you could do a lot with that. I would love to see a character that typical female behavior. Mupa, we're not trying to get canceled here. For the record, Mupa is a woman. She can say that. She has the woman card.
We're already going to get canceled.
I think, like, it would require, like, someone take the time to, like, examine the First Order internally and not just as the faceless enemy, because let's face it, Finn doesn't count.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Like, the First Order is not at all well developed.
You could have Aliana try to read her mind and be like, oh my god, this is really like a true believer. She's not just a coward who's
it's just an empty milk carton.
You know, and, I don't know. I mean, if you want to use it to make Aliana scary, you could have her try to do like the mind trick on Phasma, and Phasma's like, fuck off, and Aliana's like, okay, then we're gonna do this the hard way, and she just like force rips information out of her head while Phasma's like yelling and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it's literally any other way they could have played it, and she just chose to, I'll get Aliana out of there so it can happen like it did. Being the one to say this, everyone stop flattering, we're shooting out women.
I have so many questions I could ask. Like, I'm going to wait till after stream.
All right. Well, that means we should probably wrap this up. Thank you all so much for joining. I hope you all had a good time. We'll continue this next week. I think we're almost certainly nearing the end. I think we only got a chapter or two left before. I mean, it's not the end of the entire fic, but it would be the end of our coverage for now. We want to take a break. We'll come back to it after. Basically, we'll cut off once we finish this first movie, then come back later. Maybe we'll read the epilogue, obviously. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all had a wonderful time. Please remember to support the channel. Check out Jack's streams every single Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oh shit, I forgot to plug into Patreon today.
Yeah, you could go to my Patreon so you can join the Tundra for $1 or more and get in on these streams, or you can be an active participant here in the voice chat.
It's cool.
You can also get merch down in the link below, and I believe that's it. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll catch you all